Hi Taurus, this is your October reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below, as well as a link to the extended version of this reading, which will be in a Patreon link below, which will be the first link, where we get more in depth into the reading, and it will appear within 24 hours after this first initial video appears. Okay, so all right. This season is asking you to not only pick your battles. Hello there, little kitty. I love you. We're going to put you down, okay? I love you. He sat during most of the Scorpio reading. This is more of just understanding how you no longer want to treat yourself in situations where you know that it's best for you to walk away. You know when it's best for you to engage. Do you know all the time? No. But what's changing now is your view of how you want to handle certain relationships. There's an aspect of you that may feel like you're outgrowing something. That what's changing is the way that you have, instead of doing more, adding more to your life. Maybe there's something about simplifying right now, about maybe taking some time off, time alone, time to yourself, giving yourself space, because what you're making space for is something greater than what you have now, or what is happening in your life now. The risk adverse, known to be sometimes a risk adverse person, depending on the situation. This is about you growing as a person through the respect, the freedom of the respect, the emotional intelligence of what is happening here in your dynamics, the growth that you have through this change happening through something greater than yourself, something very Venusian that we like to call love. And it's this understanding that love is this very human, very physical connection of the greater, right? This feeling, this something that we seek, this something that we're missing, or we feel like we're missing. But then we have this, hopefully at least once in your lifetime, maybe hopefully through your friendships, that you feel this hope, or the connections that you're making, and you feel it's unconditional love through, transfers over into your romantic relationship. There's an inspiration that begins to awaken within you in a way that gives you all of the energy to, and also this greater sense of power, self-power. And not only that another rebirth is happening or another change is happening, but it's happening through you, that you're experiencing this through, that you're going through it with yourself, with someone else, and you're willing to be more open about what it is that you are really laying to rest. Maybe this is a conversation you both have, and you have, because it looks like it's with a partner or with someone else, but there's this very obvious change for a lot of you, transformation about this specific connection in your life. And it also relates to everything else in your life. There's connection to that. There's a connection to yourself that you want to maintain. And you know that if there's something that is not adding up, or there's something that's not or if this person is not willing to, my cat's gonna jump up here, willing to see this through with you and be willing to take the risk, take the jump, to be there for you as a grounding connection in your life emotionally, I think you'll see more. The more that you open up, the more that you'll see eye to eye. The more that this allows not only you to be present, or the feminine part of you to be more present, and the more masculine one to show up thinking more about the future, thinking more about the plans. This allowance to let go of what you can no longer control due to what's changing between you two. Taking an emotional leap that is also so physical. That is also a wind that governs through your relationships. And here you find yourself, double you in this reading. This love connection, this could be just with someone who you have real love for. It doesn't have to be romantic, but I do think this is very romantic for most of you. It brings you to a sense of self, of what you, and something maybe you've been thinking about tradition, something we've talked about, and you're realizing that it's the power of love, as it can sound whatever it sounds like, but as the Venusian sign, one of the Venusian signs, you're one of them that brings to life this feeling that we can only experience in your season. This development that, and trust that these flowers will bloom, but also not worrying about it at the same time unless you are someone who makes a living in that way. But it's something, as you know, that we should all be thinking about, because the environment affects everyone. Not just the people directly involved in terms of money and how they make their income, but how it affects our emotional well-being. And if you're not in a place where seasons change, there's still this air that changes. The seasons change astrologically, which I think make a lot of sense. And there's a deeper sense of knowing where maybe both of your futures lie within this. There's this trust within your body that grows stronger because you're understanding that this process doesn't look like any other process has before in your life, because this one is here now. And you've shown nothing but that someone can develop their own pace of change. Even though this one's a little bit more uncontrollable, you have felt it coming. You felt it somewhere. You've gotten glimpses, and if not, you'll start to feel it coming as we get closer to the end of the month into Scorpio season, where we will have the last eclipse in Taurus for a very long time. Because if anything, this transit has helped you realize and rebirth, and this is kind of the culmination of it. You find yourself feeling more in yourself than ever. For some of you, you find that you're expanding your family. We'll get more into that in the second part, maybe even getting married or engaged. But what you do know is that you are not only deepening the wisdom with yourself, but with the source around you, trusting that what you gain by just doing your mundane life, you receive insight to what you can no longer ignore, and to why maybe you felt defensive or on guard. Through these vulnerable moments, you feel those parts of you making more sense, but allowing yourself to digest in the ways in which you do now. Allowing yourself to process, to maybe simplify a little in your life, if you can. If not, this insight simplifies a lot for you. and does the work for you. You don't have to go out and or scream to anyone like this is why. Like, it's no, you don't have to defend. It's not about that at all. It's also diminishing these blocks with yourself, or these moments with yourself where you allow what's happening on the outside to determine your present and your future. Because you can see these situations happening. You can see, and I talked a little bit about this with Scorpio, is that there's certain dynamics that you see that have become what they are because of who you were, and then the newer relationships that you develop, you notice like who you really are or who you're becoming. And how do those things blend? How does that become your future? It's how you decide to show up in those relationships moving forward. It could cause a shock to some people, but this is the risk that you're taking for the partner that you're with, or this very devoting yourself spiritually, devoting yourself to someone, committing to a way of life, while also allowing a part of you, an identity, kind of melt away, even if it's only just personal between you and your higher power, you and your specific life, what the stage that you're in. And maybe take some walks, maybe go sit by some water. You can get dry. Let your intuition flow. Do things that allow you to get in the flow this month so you have more control over what you do have. Find the control where you can, play with art, get into something where you have to let go at some point. It has to be done at some point. And we'll talk more about in the next part. See you there.